Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So on this video I am going to be going through with you how Manchester United could line up with Donny van der Beek, Sergio, Regulion and Jadon Sancho in the team. So obviously David De Gea in goal. I think he probably will remain our number one for the start of this season at least, because Solskjaer said he wants to keep David De Gea as number one for the present time. Personally speaking, I think Solskjaer should give Dean Henderson the number one spot in goal, because I think now Dean Henderson is reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper. Because I think now Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him, because obviously Dean Henderson did endure 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. He also had a few other loan spells as well with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. You know, we got Dean Henderson back in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him at the age of 14. So Dean Henderson has been part of the football club for several years. But Solskjaer did recently say that Dean Henderson is not yet ready to become number one. And he did say there's a possibility, chance that we could loan him out again for this season. We had the good news regarding Dean Henderson recently. He signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United with an option of a further year. So in total, it was a 6-year deal, and he's on around 120 grand a week. So actually, his wages have doubled, because it was only last year Dean Henderson signed a new deal with around £60,000 a week. Obviously, David De Gea, this season will be his 10th season at Manchester United. Obviously, we got David De Gea from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. We got him for just over £18 million. Now, I did say, didn't I, if we'd have sold David De Gea in this summer transfer window, you know, we'd have got around £60 million for him, despite the fact that he has been inconsistent in the last couple of years. Now, David De Gea has made 405 appearances, I think, for Man United in all competitions, 300-odd appearances in the Premier League. But Solskjaer said he's been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years, because he has won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards. But when De Gea does eventually leave Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. Now, obviously, at right back, it will be Wan-Bissaka. You already know the news on Wan-Bissaka anyway. He's set to miss the start of pre-season training, because he recently travelled to Dubai. And now I think he's got a quarantine for 14 days. Now, obviously, this season will be Wan-Bissaka's second season at the football club. Last season was Wan-Bissaka's first season at the club, and I thought for the vast majority of last season he did very, very well. But I think Wan-Bissaka's defensive contributions always been very, very good. He's just lacking that attacking intent. You know, we need to definitely see more attacking intent from Wan-Bissaka. But we did get him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. Obviously, centre-halves, Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Obviously, you know, last season there was our first choice centre-halves. Now, Victor Lindelof, there's definitely aspects of his game that's got to improve. I thought last season he had some good games, but he also had some bad games. And we know that he's nowhere near on Harry Maguire's level. Probably Harry Maguire is the best centre-half we've currently got at the moment. But we did pay around £30 million from Victor Lindelof from Benfica back in 2017. Harry Maguire, we recently had the incident regarding Harry Maguire. Don't forget, Harry Maguire recently gave his first interview since his arrest in Greece. And Harry Maguire said he feared for his life during his arrest in Greece and thought he was being kidnapped. Now, we do know that Harry Maguire will keep the captain's armband at Manchester United. Obviously, you know, this season's going to be Harry Maguire's second season at the football club. Obviously, last season, was Harry Maguire's first season at the football club. We got Harry Maguire in a deal worth £80 million. So he's the second most expensive signing at the club, just behind Paul Pogba, and he is the most expensive centre-half in the world. Left back, obviously Sergio Regulion, if I've pronounced his surname correctly. He's currently playing for Real Madrid at the moment. Real Madrid did recently say, they'd demand around £18 million. Well, it said from 18 million, from between 18 million to 22 million pounds. Obviously, as it stands at the moment, Luke Shaw is our first choice left back. And obviously, if we don't sign a left back, I think, Luke Shaw will remain our first choice left back for this season. Luke Shaw, of course, has endured 6 years with Manchester United. We paid around £30 million in from Southampton back in 2014. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone. Obviously, we've got Brandon Williams. He's our backup left back. But he did actually play a lot of games last season. But he did very, very well in his first season in our senior squad. He recently signed a new contract with Man United. Brandon Williams, he did sign a 4-year deal. Midfield, Paul Pogba and Donny van der Beek. I give you the news on Paul Pogba recently. He got tested positive for coronavirus. I'll say what I mentioned on my recent videos. I hope all the best for Paul Pogba and I hope all the best for his family. But reflect on Pogba getting the coronavirus. He had to get withdrawn from the France squad. So from his perspective, he won't be happy about this. Now, I think we are going to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the football club to end the uncertainty over his future. As you all know, Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. Obviously, it said a few weeks before the end of last season that, Paul Pogba was close to signing a 5-year contract with Man United. Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he came out and said that Paul Pogba's happy at Manchester United and he said he wants to stay at Manchester United. For the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on Paul Pogba because obviously he was out with that ankle injury. But Pogba has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. But he recently celebrated his 4-year anniversary at the football club. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. As it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing because we did pay £89 million for him. But towards the end of last season, like I mentioned before, did very, very well. Thought he did well in some of our Europa League games. But around this time last year, Paul Pogba had made an admission saying that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge. Obviously, Real Madrid were relentlessly linked to him. He was talking a lot about Real Madrid last year. There was obviously narratives about him going back to Juventus because Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. Swap deals were high on the agenda. Obviously, PSG, Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Paul Pogba has made over 100 appearances for Man United in all competitions since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016, and Paul Pogba has won 2 trophies at the football club, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. Don't forget as well, we had Paul Pogba when he was a lot younger, but due to limited appearances, we had to let him go on a free transfer. Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, like I said, earlier on this year, we was very, very critical of him because obviously his agent had come out and publicly criticised Solskjaer and Manchester United. But Mini Raiola did recently confirm that Pogba's staying at Man United and he said he will hold talks over a new contract. So there you go. You already know the news on Donny van der Beek from Ajax. I give you the news on him earlier on today. If a bit more additional information updates about him, I will update you on my next video I do. So it has said recently that Manchester United are close to signing Donny van der Beek for around €40 million. and that equates to around 36 million in pounds sterling. So he is a cheap solution. And Donny van de Beek has reportedly told his teammates at Ajax that he's joining Manchester United. He was recently left out of Ajax's squad for their pre-season game against Frankfurt, and Donny van de Beek has told Mark Overmars and Edwin van der Sar he will not be playing for the football club again. But this is actually no thanks to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Solskjaer's actually now convinced Donny van de Beek that Old Trafford would be the best thing a move to Old Trafford would be the best thing in his career. I think he's set to undergo a medical with Man United, so looking very, very likely that he's going to be our first signing in this summer transfer window. We've confirmed that we've got two other priorities when we do sign Donny van de Beek, and we're looking to get a right winner, and we're also looking to get a central midfielder or holding midfielder. But yeah, but I definitely notate Donny van de Beek at Manchester United. I think he's a very, very good player. Obviously hasn't played in the Premier League as yet. For the entirety of his career so far, he's been with Ajax. Obviously, joined Ajax in 2008, joined their youth system. He was in their youth system for a good 7 years, and obviously Donny van de Beek made his senior debut for Ajax in 2015, and he's gone on to score 41 goals in 175 appearances in all competitions, and he has still got a contract with Ajax until 2022. Obviously, we're not the only club that are in for him, no. Obviously, Barcelona are in for him, Real Madrid are in for him. Don't forget, it did say earlier on this year that, Real Madrid had reached an agreement to get Donny van de Beek for around £47 million. It recently says that Tottenham have been in for him. But it did recently say that Donny van de Beek does want to make a move to the Premier League. Fabrizio Romano, he's spoken about this Donny van de Beek transfer saga, and he says that Man United have been scouting the player for months and we've been in contact with his agents for weeks. But when it stems from Fabrizio Romano, it tends to be very reliable. It really, really does. But I think it said back in June we'd submitted around the £36 million bid. Erik ten Hag, who I think is the coach of Ajax, he did say earlier on this year that, Donny van de Beek's likely to leave Ajax in this summer transfer window. Van der Sar did say he would be allowed to leave, but only for a suitable fee. Obviously, Ajax have let quite a few of their players go in recent years. They let Hakim Ziyech go. They also let Matthijs de Ligt go. And they also let Frankie de Jong go. So, there you go. So, yeah, them two in the midfield. Then, obviously, in the number 10, Bruno Fernandez. I think Bruno Fernandez has made a fantastic impact since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon in January. Obviously, Bruno Fernandez has won Player of the Month 3 times. I think, did he win it in February? I think he also won it in, was it July? And I think he also won it for May. I might be wrong, but I just know that he has won it 3 times. And I think Bruno Fernandez has got like 12 or 13 goals in all competitions for us since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon. But Bruno Fernandez is definitely the foreseeable future for Manchester United. I think in January we did get him in a deal worth £40 million, but it did actually say it could rise up to around £65 million. Is it obviously, with add-ons included. And Fernandez, of course, did sign a 5.5-year deal with the football club. Jadon Sancho, obviously on the right-hand side. I think there's a lot of Manchester United fans now, though, that don't think Jadon Sancho will be coming to the football club in this summer transfer window. Throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block, because Borussia Dortmund's valuation is around £108 million, and we're not determined to meet that valuation. I think Dortmund before were looking for like £90 million up front, and we was only willing to pay like £60 or £70 million up front. But it did actually say that Sancho has agreed personal terms with Man United, and it said he's agreed a 5-year contract with the football club worth around £340,000 a week. Now, around is it 3 weeks ago now, just a bit longer, it was looking very, very imminent that Sancho was going to be signing for Man United, because obviously Fabrizio Romano came out and said that the terms and that had been agreed, and negotiations between Manchester United and Dortmund were at an advanced stage. But he just said after that talks had broken down due to Borussia Dortmund's asking price. Now, Sancho did recently say that he expects his move to Man United to happen in this summer transfer window. Man United still do want him, because obviously he's our number one priority target. And I think we've actually been in for Sancho for the last 3 years. But don't forget the other week, Borussia Dortmund's CEO and sporting director, and recently another one of their directors said that Sancho's staying at the club and staying at Dortmund, and the decision is final. This is what they had said. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund did recently play 2 friendlies. They drew 1-1 with Paderborn. Sancho played 72 minutes of that game, and they lost 3-1 to Bochum. But we missed out on the deadline to sign Sancho, because Dortmund said, we had until the 10th of August to get the player. We didn't get him, so obviously Sancho decided to go on pre-season with Borussia Dortmund. But I think Sancho has enjoyed 3 good years with Borussia Dortmund. He really, really has. Dortmund only paid £8 million in from Man City, so Dortmund got him for next to nothing. He did enjoy a few years with Man City, but the main explanation why he left Manchester City is because he did not get assured any first-team opportunities. And obviously, before he was at City, he was at Watford. He was at Watford from the age of 7 to the age of 14. So he was at Watford for several years, And we made a promise to Sancho as well, that we was willing to offer him the number 7. Obviously, we've got number 7 vacant at the moment, but we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. We've already missed out on 2 players under Solskjaer, and that was obviously, Jude Bellingham and Erling Haaland. Of course, they both went to Borussia Dortmund, but we have been looking at a lot of alternatives to Sancho, because there is much cheaper solutions than him. I'm not going to fully disregard him coming in, but I still say there's a slight chance we could get him. But he recently said we'd abandoned our chase for Sancho until the summer of 2021. So yeah, him on the right. Obviously on the left-hand side, Marcus Rashford. Obviously, last season, Marcus Rashford was obviously playing on that left-hand side, but also too, Marcus Rashford can play centrally. Now, obviously, last season, Marcus Rashford did have a back injury, and he was out for quite a few months. First part of last season weren't too good. I thought, though, towards the end of the season, he did quite well, did Rashford. I think definitely Rashford is the foreseeable future for Man United. Rashford, by the way, recently sustained an ankle injury, so he's a doubt for England's games. Against Iceland and Denmark. So this is obviously very, very bad news. But Rashford, he's been part of the club for several years. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016, and since then has become an integral part of our team. And Martial up top, I think, he will remain in the number 9, because I thought Martial was fantastic in that central position last season. But that's not his predominant position. His predominant position is out wide, Anthony Martial's. Martial has enjoyed 5 years with the football club. I think Martial's enjoyed 2 good years out of the 5 years he's been at Man United. So he did well last season under Solskjaer, and he did well in his debut season under Louis van Gaal era. We did get Anthony Martial from Monaco for £36 million back in 2015. So that's how I think Man United could line up if we had to sign Regulion, Donny van der Beek and Jadon Sancho. So that's the news on that. But Man United have definitely got to start making signings in this summer transfer window. Like I said to you, the summer transfer window's been open now, is it just over 5 weeks, and as it stands at the moment, we have not yet made any signings. But when we do sign Donny van der Beek and that, that'll be very, very good news, and That'll give us obviously, a lot of confidence, to go and get more signings. I think Solskjaer said he wants Man United to make around 3 signings in this summer transfer window at least. And I think Woodward has said he wants Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings in this summer transfer window. But I don't think Solskjaer's to blame with obviously lack of transfer activity up until this point. Because Solskjaer is progressing as Manchester United manager, and he even publicly admitted that Man United have got to spend money in this summer transfer window if we are to compete with the likes of City and Liverpool, this season, also to Chelsea. But I just think, recently Man United have been losing patience with the board. But like I've said to you before, we've been very, very critical of Woodward and the Glazers for several years. Obviously, there's main explanations behind it. Because obviously our recruitment policy has been poor for several years. We've overpaid for players in recent years. £80 million for Harry Maguire, 89 million for Pogba, 50 million for Fred, 52 million for Fred, 40 million for Matic, 75 million for Lukaku. So yeah, we have overpaid for players. Obviously Woodward's been at the football club since 2012 and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. And obviously we spent nearly £1 billion in the last 7 years on players. Obviously Woodward has sacked 3 managers so far since he come to Man United. Obviously, we sacked David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho and that. So Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. But, Woodward did say, didn't he, he was determined to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this summer transfer window. He also said at the first part of last season that Solskjaer's job was safe. And, the Glazers said, they're determined to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, this summer transfer window is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. Obviously, so far with the football club, Solskjaer spent around £200 million. Didn't recommend anyone in his first transfer window, but last summer Solskjaer brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in, and in January he brought Bruno Fernandez and Odion Ighalo in. Obviously he brought Odion Ighalo on loan, and obviously we've recently brought a few academy players in. We brought Marc Joado in from Barcelona, Alvaro Fernandez from Real Madrid, Isaac Hansen Aaron, we also brought him in not too long ago. We brought Joe Hugel in from Sunderland and we bought Filip Stevanovic from Partizan Belgrade. We got him for around €12 million. He will remain with Partizan Belgrade for this season on loan. Then he will officially join Man United in the summer of 2021. So it's good that we're bringing more young players in, and I think, Solskjaer's promoted the youth very, very well. It's good that we've got a lot of young players coming through. That's obviously, very, very good to see. But like I said, we will make at least 1 signing in this summer transfer window. We will. Still a long way to go yet in this window. Like I said, it's been open for over 5 weeks, I think, now. But, it is open until October. Solskjaer did say earlier on in his managerial career that he wants to recruit young British talents to Manchester United. What's our transfer budget? Well, I think it did say at the end of last season that we've actually got around £140 million to spend. But Solskjaer's got big decisions to make at Manchester United. He's not only going to focus on the incomings in this summer transfer window, he's also going to focus on the outgoings. Because obviously, we're going to get rid of more players. Because quite frankly, there is still deadwood at the football club. Obviously, we're looking to get rid of the likes of Jesse Lingard, Andres Pereira, Smalling, Rojo, Jones, Delors. Some United fans will say we need to get rid of Bay. Some United fans will say we need to get rid of Lindelof. Obviously, Sergio Romero's open to leaving the football club. I think we've just recently loaned a few players out. We've recently loaned out James Garner and Dylan Levitt. We've recently loaned out Joe Pereira. Don't forget we recently loaned out to Heath Chong, but that was the right decision by Manchester United. But we sell players in this summer transfer window, will generate money, and it will help us with our rebuilding process. Now, obviously, this season's going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 2nd full season at the football club. And I said the big test for Solskjaer will be this season. Because obviously if we, recruit well in this, if we recruit well from now in this summer transfer window, I think our expectations this season will be to probably challenge for the title. And I think the other expectation will be to win a trophy, because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under Solskjaer. And we haven't won a major honour for over 3 years, and that's the first time that's happened in 31 years. But if we weren't to get all the players we wanted in this summer transfer window, then maybe our expectation this season would be the same as the start of last season. Just finish in the top 4 and get qualification for the Champions League. Obviously, last season, we got qualification for the Champions League. We finished 3rd. And, we also progressed to 3 semi-finals. We got to the FA Cup semi-final, the Europa League semi-final, and we got to the EFL Cup semi-final. But like Solskjaer said, semi-finals are not good enough. But I'm hopeful we can win a title under Solskjaer, because obviously we've not won the Premier League title since 2013. So the last time we won it was in Ferguson's last season. We failed to mount any kind of title challenge up for the last 7 years. We have won 20 titles, 13 of them are Premier League, so we are the most successful team in Premier League history at the moment. In the entirety of our history, we have won 45 trophies. But like I said, Solskjaer's been at Manchester United now 20 months, and I think it's around 20 months, and I have taken positives from his tenure so far, and I've definitely seen improvements, but there's still improvements needed at Manchester United. There really, really is. So, yeah. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update you with today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.